Well, hello, and welcome to my channel and the very first Q&A video. Woot, 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 woot. I'm so excited. Can't you tell? So I wanted to introduce myself to you and tell you why I'm here and hope that you stick around and subscribe and hit that notification bell. All right, my name is Kim Hamer and I deal with death, mostly in the corporate space. My expertise, while lies kind of across the spectrum of death and helping people understand how to show up for their friends and colleagues, my specific expertise really deals with guiding managers in navigating the challenges of managing a grieving team. I coach and train them to be both productive and empathetic while fostering resilience and connection. So that's what I do. That's where my expertise lies. I love what I do, and I know that people think, oh, death, don't want to talk about it, uncomfortable topic. Well, part of my goal is to make it a comfortable topic, but one of the main reasons I love what I do is because every single time I help somebody, every single time I talk to a manager and HR team, the response is, oh my God, this is so helpful. And there's this quote from Shantideva, which I love, and I try to live by, and it's this: for as long as space endures and for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world. And while I can't dispel the misery of the world, I know I can help managers dispel the misery and discomfort of managing a grieving team. I think that managers are getting the short end of the stick right now. They're not only responsible for employee engagement, but they're now responsible for the well-being of their employees and for their mental health. And they haven't gotten training to do so. So in my little corner, in my little world, I'm hoping that I can alleviate managers of the misery of not knowing what to do and what to say and how to learn how to manage a grieving team. The response to that is yes and mostly no. Look, as an HR practitioner, I know that we are really good at providing individual resources and support for employees, such as employee assistance programs. But those programs and those systems do not support managers trying to manage a grieving team. Grief has long-lasting effects. It increases turnover and it lowers productivity and mostly lowers connection and trust on an organization. And when a manager doesn't manage it well through no fault of their own, they can end up costing the organization revenue, and most importantly, they end up causing mental health harm to themselves and to their employees. And that's just, in today's age, none of us needs that extra kind of guilt factor on us. So that's why I do what I do. It's my own little special place in HR. Yeah, so you're like, okay, Kim, well, what exactly do you do? I provide coaching and training to leaders and HR teams. I developed a really unique framework that assists managers in managing a grieving team throughout the first few months, mostly from day one all the way through 6 months after the event. What does it look like? Well, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. No, sorry, that's probably not a very funny joke. You know that saying, someone says they're in doing stuff. Actually, I know someone who is doing stuff. I don't know if I should probably say that. Whatever. Any rate, so what exactly do I do? A great example is communication. What I often see is organizations make the mistake of not communicating enough. So their first mistake is an employee dies and they often hold off on making an announcement to the organization because they want to gather more information. And in between that gathering of information, the rumor mill is working. And so if you're not sending a message out within 24 hours after an employee death, you now are fostering distrust in your organization because they want to hear from you. People are feeling really anxious and upset and they want to hear from you first. So I often tell organizations, get that email out. I also recommend that they get it out from the CEO, not from the head of HR. And it doesn't have to be long. It's like, hey, this happened. We are also in shock. We are gathering more information. Let us get some information to you. We'll get it to you in the next 24 hours, right? So it's really simple. Organizations make the mistake of waiting, and in that waiting, they all start to lose trust automatically, and employees start to feel ungrounded, which is exactly what you don't want. So that's a great example of where I come in and can help organizations in the communication, which is actually the very first piece of my framework. I know I normally don't have to answer this question, but someone did ask me once, and I was kind of in shock that they didn't think about why it matters. Research shows that death of an employee is the second most traumatic experience in a leader's career. The first most traumatic experience is dealing with mental health, whether themselves or in employees. So, it defines people's careers. I get an email from a leader once a week saying how this instance in the death of their employee was the hardest moment in their 25, 15-year career. It's a long career to have this one event be the hardest thing. So it really does matter. And it has, like I talked earlier, grief has a very long tail. And if managers and leaders feel like they haven't done the right thing and they weren't able to figure out what to do and they didn't have the support, that affects their ability to lead, and it also affects how they feel about themselves. So that's why it matters. Our leaders need to be supported in dealing with these really difficult issues. Yes, I do. I often get asked that question. And yes, if a team member has dealt with a death of a child or a partner or someone very close to them, I absolutely do come in and help the manager manage that specific employee and actually manage the team, because there's so much that the team and the manager can do that will actually support the employee in working through their grief at work. So yes, I do that as well. Why me? I swear to God, this has been in my DNA since my husband died. So I'm a widow. My husband died at the age of 44. And I'm also an HR practitioner with over 10 years of leadership experience. And those two really kind of came together for me when I would see death happen, my own experience with loss and grief, and I would see death happen in the workforce. And I would watch people not know what to do or what to say. And I remember thinking myself, there's got to be resources out here for managers. There's got to be, like, our employee assistance program has to have that. And they don't. And I often think we need a manager assistance program where managers can get the coaching that they need. But I probably shouldn't say that because someone's, you know what? No, it's just an idea. An idea has no value until someone does something with it. So if you're going to do something with it, let me know. I'd be happy to help you. So at any rate, I just noticed a lot how managers are stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I just felt like this was a place where I could be most useful. The other reason that I feel like I'm qualified to do this, that I know that I'm qualified to do this, let me own that, is I am author of this book, What's 100 Acts of Love, A Girlfriend's Guide to Loving Your Friend Through Cancer or Loss. So I actually wrote a book specifically for those people who are supporting people who are dealing with cancer or loss to help them know what to do and what to say. And so my focusing on managers and leaders is just an extension of that. Typically, HR professionals reach out to me, but leaders on their own have also found me. My framework is most useful from day one after the employee died to about 6 months. However, I was just contacted by an organization where they are anticipating a very beloved employee who's going to be dying from cancer. And they want to make sure that they've got communication in place to make sure that they're really taking care of not just this employee's family, but the employees have an opportunity to take care of them, and that their manager has an opportunity to deal with the grieving team, even though they are experiencing right now anticipatory grief. So they're wondering how I can help support them with that. Well, you can reach out to me here. You can leave me a message in the comments here. You can leave me a message on LinkedIn. You can DM me on Facebook. Or you can go to my website, which is the contact information is down below. Yeah, there is one other thing. And I say this all the time, and I always worry that it sounds disingenuine, but I really do mean it. I am not here because I was super strong and got through my husband's death, right? I am here because of all the people who showed up for us while he was sick and after he died. And for the people who continue to have incredible amount of empathy and sympathy for me when I share my story. So I'm here because what they did, all the little things, and believe me, there were some big ones, but the little things that they did really, really, really mattered. I'm here for all of my friends, or not friends anymore, who didn't know what to do and took a step back, right? I am here because I know how much and how important what you do is when someone is in crisis. So what I really want to say to you is that you matter. Like, you really matter. You have the ability to displace, to dispel the misery of the world in your own little corner for your team, for your colleague, your coworker, for your friend. You matter. So that's my final message. All right, y'all, don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell. Building this channel one video at a time. I'm just so grateful you're here. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you make it an incredibly great day. Bye.